Hey guys, welcome to the Dreams Guy podcast. My name is John Thomas, and we are jumping into another episode with a live dreamer. This time we have Oriel. Oriel has been with us here at the Streams offices for almost a year now, interning from Israel. And so we get to do one of your dreams live. So that's awesome. Oriel has some fun dreams.
This one's a funny one.
All right. Well, how long? When did you have it?
October, I think. So this is we're in July, so
okay,
a while ago.
A little bit ago.
Yeah. So this is what I dreamt. I dreamt that I was in an apartment with other people, and there was a man who was sick, and he was laying on a bed, and I was praying for him because he had like tumors in his head that was causing him headaches. So I'm praying for him, and I look up, and the ceiling is very, very high. And I see this really, really big rectangular like glass window. And outside is a tree. And on this tree, I can see branches coming out. And there's 6 monkeys sitting on the branches. And they're all sitting in pairs of 2.
Okay.
Of course, a pair is 2. But 6 of them are out there. And I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, wow, that looks like that's very odd. So I whip out my camera to film it so that I can show my family. And then suddenly, the Long Island medium, if you know who that is, she has a reality show in which she claims that she can talk to the dead and communicate what they're saying. She appears on the left corner of the window, and she's banging on the window, and she's saying, "Let me in," because she's trying to see her daughter. And I'm looking at her, and she's really adamant. She's like relentless. She's banging, saying, "Let me in. My daughter's in there. I want to see my daughter. Let me in, let me in." And I was really perplexed by it because she was very, like, coming at it very, very strong. And I didn't let her in. And that was the dream.
All right. Okay, so let's repeat this back.
Yeah.
So you are in an apartment, and there's a lot of people there. And there is someone, a gentleman, that has tumors in his head that is in pain. And so you're praying for him. You're praying for the tumors to go away, praying for healing. And as you're praying for him, you look up and you notice that the ceiling is very high, and you can see a window. And out of the window, you can see that there's a tree. And one of the branches that's on the tree, there are 6 monkeys, 3 pairs of 2 that are sitting. So 2, 2, and then 2.
Well, it was sort of like, I don't know if it matters that much, but there was just a lot of branches. Like, it was like a tree with a lot of branches, and they were just all there. And the window was very, very, very big.
Very big. And then, but you could see on the branches. Yes. Okay. Now, was it on one branch or just on various branches?
Multiple branches. And they were just like looking at us.
And they were staring into the window. And then suddenly, this woman who's the Long Island medium, she is outside the window, knocking on the window, saying, let me in, my daughter's in there. And she just keeps on, very adamant, very forceful. And you basically just ignore her. You're not going to let her in. And that's the end of the dream.
That was the end of the dream.
All right. Let's see. So you've got a couple different things. So apartment generally talks about something temporary, a little bit different than a home. Home is a little bit more permanent. Apartments generally are a little bit less permanent. You have a lot of community. So there's community, there's people that are there. You have someone that is sick. So brain tumors is literally brain tumors, or it's just an issue of healing, praying for healing, something to do with the mind, something to do with the brain. So it could be a physical thing, or it also could be like a mental thing, right? Because it's a brain situation that you're dealing with. So it could be either or. And it may or may not be a specific person, because in the dream, you didn't recognize who this person was. It was just a general person. So it's not necessarily that you're going to have somebody in specific that has this problem, but that you have compassion for those that are in pain, and you pray and you care for them. And then outside. So trees often represent leadership, but I'm trying to see how that would fit. It just doesn't feel like that really fits with this particular dream, with it being leadership. It's something that's outside of this environment. And there's a structure, there's growth, there's life, but monkeys are not normal in the United States or in Israel, where you're from. Either one. So
Not
these
outside
are
your window.
yeah, especially not outside the window staring at you.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing in there? So monkeys can represent different things. One of the things that they can represent is mockery. They kind of mock things. And so it's kind of like this mocking thing that's going on. And there's 6 of them. So 6 of them, 6 is the number of man. So it's generally in negative. We get that from Revelation. It says that 6 is the number of man. So you have this kind of this human, kind of this mocking thing that is going on, that's staring in at the church and trying to understand what's going on. So I think that this actually represents a season that the church is in. And the church is trying to figure out how to help people that have bad thinking, that are in pain because of their thinking. And so in this dream, you're actually operating as an intercessor. It's just as an intercessor, you represent people, not just yourself. It's not that it doesn't apply to you; it does apply to you, but it's not just about you. So this is something that's bigger, something that's broader. And the Long Island medium is illegal access to the spiritual things. That there are things that have been birthed illegally that are in the church. And those that tried to birth it have been trying to get access, but discernment is not allowing them to get back into the church. I'm trying to, I want to be careful because I give an example as an application, but when I do this, the example is not necessarily the interpretation. It's an example that will give you an idea to understand what that might be. So I want to clarify that when I'm thinking about that. But let's say that there is a spiritual practice that's in the world that is accepted. People look at it and they start doing it in the church, not thinking that it's necessarily negative, not realizing what it is. It births something in the church. And now the spirit that authored that is trying to get access to the church.
Like she was trying to let
my
me in.
daughter is in here. Yeah, let me in. My daughter's in there. I birthed this thing. I have a right to be there. Let me in. But discernment says, no, you do not have a right to come in there. And so there's some things that have opened up. There's not actually a legal right, but there are things that have been birthed in the wrong way, but they're in the church, which means that they're not necessarily evil. That's not a bad thing. But the enemy's trying to get access. So backing up, getting kind of the bigger picture. There's compassion in the church to help people that have wrong thinking, that are in pain because of the way that they're seeing things. And the enemy is trying to get access into the church with illegal spirituality, but discernment is keeping it at bay while the world looks on with a mocking spirit.
Wow. That is cool. I mean, it's a hard thing, but I'm like, wow, the fact that God really, I'll tell you what's really cool for me. It's the fact that God really speaks to the dreamer. Like, because anytime I'll see like on TV or on YouTube, some kind of medium claiming that they have, the cure for the world, it bothers me. It irks me so much. And I think it's really cool how God, he sees you as a dreamer and he's like, I know that you care for this. I put this on your heart. It's not like I had that care from the beginning. He puts his desires in your heart so that you desire them. And it's really cool to know that he sees the things that you care about too as a person. But yeah.
Well, and it's interesting. I mean, you had that dream in October of this last year, and just thinking through some of the things that have happened and how the world has really looked in a mocking way at what's going on in the church. The church is trying to help people, especially with wrong thinking, and the enemy, like demonic spirituality, divination, has been trying to get access. Like all of that has happened. I mean, it was happening, but it became very, very recognizable since you had that dream.
Yeah.
In many ways, kind of came to the surface. So you were seeing something that was coming in that role of an intercessory, kind of a prophetic intercessory piece of seeing what's there. But we're shown what's there so that we can pray, so we can ask God to come and have his way in that situation. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Very fun. Any other questions on that?
So would I be I'm not the focus of the dream, though. I'm in the dream.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. So you're the one that's praying. You're the one that's noticing. And so one of the things that happens, often we talk about, if you're the focus, the dream is about you. If you're participating, it involves you. If you're observing, it's not really about you, it's about what you're observing. Mm-hmm. So that principle holds. But one of the interesting things is sometimes with intercessors and intercessory dreams, the dreamer can represent something that they're identifying with. And so in this situation, there's an aspect that is you, because you really care for wrong thinking, and you have a real gift of compassion and praying for people. And yet that you were also representing a group in the church that would care, that would intercede for these situations. So you were you, but you were also that. So you actually are the focus, but that doesn't mean that you were only representing yourself in the dream.
So it's much broader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's broader.
Well, you can't be part of a body when you're only one, so.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Yay. So guys, thanks for joining us for this episode of the Dreams Guy podcast. My name is John Thomas, and I look forward to seeing you next week for our next episode. Bless you guys.